Today on Hunt's Barbecue, we're doing direct fire turkey breast. So I've kind of been procrastinating on what to do for Thanksgiving turkey, and we ended up doing a little potluck cook for the company that I work for, and we did direct fire turkey, which is something I'd never done, and it turned out really, really good. So today we're going to replicate that with just a few simple ingredients and show you a couple other tips on how to set up the Weber Smoky Mountain. Let's get into it. Okay, so what we've got here is just really simple stuff, and it's really easy to throw together, especially if you're in a pinch on Thanksgiving or trying to figure out how to cook the bird that you're going to do. We're not doing a full-size bird because we ended up doing this with breast, and this will serve about 5 people, 3 people if they're really hungry. All this is just a butterball pre-brined turkey breast, and this does still have the chest bone and everything in it, so you will need to spatchcock this, but I'll show you how to do it. It's really simple. The reason why I like butterball is because they pre-brine their turkey breast and it gives it a good flavor, and you don't have to worry about the brining process, to me anyway. Next thing, we've got some really fresh kind of green pecan wood. This right here is really good for like a super fresh smoke, and it's not going to be on there that long, probably about 4 hours, depending on how hot we run that and how fast we want the skin to get crispy on this. So yeah, super simple stuff. If you're looking where to find fresh wood at, most places inside of your area will have somebody as a wood dealer. I like to use that term. Anyway, having fresh wood kind of really does make a big difference in the way your meat tastes. At least it does to me. So search around, jump on Craigslist, jump on Facebook. Someone out there has got some very fresh wood out there that's apple, that's hickory, that's pecan, that will really up your kind of barbecue game in that area. So over here we've got the chimney going, and I'm going to show you a couple of things that I'm doing on that. All right, so we got the chimney fired up over here. Of course, we've got sous chef Luna out here hanging out with us. This is a really simple setup, nothing crazy. I use Jealous Devil charcoal in everything I do. I don't like the briquettes because I feel like they break up and make everything super dusty. So I've got just a little butane torch. I've got this set on 3 red bricks, just like housing building bricks. And then I've got probably three quarters of a chimney of Jealous Devil charcoal in this. I'm not sponsored by Jealous Devil. I just think their product is really good. But if you're listening, I would love some free charcoal because I go through a lot of this stuff. So let's head over to the Weber Smoky Mountain. All right, so we're over here at the Weber Smoky Mountain. A couple of things I'm going to do on this guy. I should probably clean it out, but it's not really that much ash in there. So yeah, we're not doing that. We're not going to run the water pan. You're going to cook on the top grate, and you're going to offset, you're going to bank this to one side, just so that way you've got more direct heat on one side than you do the other. And the reason is because even with this much distance in there, it can still burn the outside skin. And the ones we did earlier, it did kind of burn them a little bit. So we're going to just shift that heat a little over, and we're going to cook on the indirect side of it. So let's get our charcoal thrown in there, and I'll show you kind of how I bank the wood and everything in here. It's probably not a bad idea to throw a glove on when you do this, but you see how much I'm putting in there, and that little bit of charcoal is still going to get that guy up to about, probably in the neighborhood of about 375 to 400 degrees. You may need to put a little bit more in there, but all I'm going to do is just take a piece of this pecan wood and just lay it right there on top of it. We're going to get this kettle put together and then show you what we're going to do on the turkey breast. All right, so we got our turkey breast in our bag here. I'm just going to get this guy cut open. Nothing really much to it. Find a place to put that. So, and I really wish that you guys could smell that fresh pecan wood that's coming off of there. It smells, you can't even put it into words how good it smells. So, so Luna's out here, of course. We've got a little bit of extra brine that's going to stay inside of here, so I would advise finding somewhere to kind of dump that. I've got a bucket set to the side of here and I'm just going to dump this stuff out in. So, all right. So what we've got here is just the breast. I've cut everything else off of it. It's got a bunch of ice in here. I try to get as much of that out of there as I can because some of this stuff is still kind of frozen and they've kind of already kind of sandwiched this guy down the center here. So all you're really going to want to do is come in here and you'll find if you take your knife and just kind of come down through here, you'll hit a bone in there. You just kind of want to cut through that cartilage in there just a little bit. And then you can come either to the left side or the right side, and you can see this bone that's running right through the back side of there. It's a big white strip in there. Come to whatever side you've cut this breast on and put a small incision up here. That's just going to allow you to kind of half spatchcock this open, just like that. That way it'll just sit in there and it'll catch a little more heat. And even if you wanted it to lay down a little bit more, you can come on the other side of the breastbone and do the same thing. Make a small incision in there, push on that side, and it just breaks open like that. So nothing too crazy there, and now you've got a spatchcocked turkey breast. So as far as seasonings go, super simple. That's another reason why I really like this. Before I jump too far ahead of myself, anything you see that's kind of hanging off of this guy, you can trim up just like you trim any other piece of meat. All right, good looking bird, smells good. So next thing is we're just going to use a standard seasoning. We're going to run salt and then just my Heinz barbecue rub. And what that consists of, it's just got a handful of ingredients in it, but you know, pretty simple stuff. Garlic powder, onion powder, the usual things, smoked paprika. I actually did a video on what's in that seasoning, so if you want to go check that video out and go take a peek at it, and that way you can see kind of what you're looking at in there. So let's get that on there real quick. And the reason why I'm doing my salt separate on this is because this is such a quick cook. This rub does not have a whole lot of salt in it. It's enough for just doing like long cooks, but for doing a short cook and we want to dry this skin out because we're trying to get some crispy skin on this dude, adding more salt is definitely going to help out a lot. And this is a big chunk of meat, so it's not going to hurt anything if you go kind of liberal on it. So there we go. Up next, we're just going to throw a little bit of the old Heinz barbecue seasoning on there. Nothing special. So, and like I said, you can put this on as thick as you want to, because that skin's going to protect a whole lot of it from really sinking in there. So I'm putting a lot of it on because I really like it. So there we go, the outside. Come up here and do this front edge because I don't really feel like we got all of that. So the back of this breast here needs a little bit more. A little bald spot there. Kind of like the top of my head. I'm going to put a little bit up there. All right. Now we're just going to come on the inside and do the exact same thing. Throwing down a bunch of seasoning. There we go. And depending on how you put this on, if you're trying to impress people, you know, making sure you do your breast the last side. So if you're going to show this and, you know, cut it up and kind of use this as a centerpiece on the table, you might want to keep that in mind. I'm not really doing that, so we're just going to, once this thing's cooked, we're going to eat it. So, yeah. So there we go. We've got everything seasoned up. So we're going to get this guy over here on the Weber Smoky Mountain. All right, so we got the pit running 325. It'll probably get up to about 335, 340 before it's said and done. And it'll probably just sit there and run that way for a while. One thing different about this Weber Smoky Mountain and yours is that I've got 4 vents in the top of mine. So if I pop this lid up, you can see it. I've kind of customized this guy a little bit. What that does is it gives me an open fire that burns down in the bottom of this, and I think that's crucial for getting the correct smoke flavor on stuff. If you really want to reproduce that, you can just take something and pop this lid open and leave a gap right here in this front end. It'll do the exact same thing. It took me a while to figure out this configuration to get this thing to work. But leave all your vents open. If you like the way your Weber Smoky Mountain cooks, let it roll just the way it is. You don't need to modify it at all. It's just the way I like mine. So let's get the bird on there. All right, so here we go. And I'm gonna put this breast side up for this first half. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of offsetting the thicker part of the breast kind of closer to that indirect fire that I've got banked to one side. So it's something you want to make sure you do. But I will come out here and check on it probably every hour just to kind of see what the skin's looking like. I want that skin to dry out, so I don't want to put a whole lot of moisture in there, but I don't want to dry out the breast either. But the past couple of times we've cooked this, it's done really well and it's retained a lot of that juiciness inside the breast. So I don't think there's much more that needs to be done besides throw the lid on. All right, so our Weber Smoky Mountain's starting to come down in temperature, kind of a little faster than I am kind of used to. But what we got to do is we got to throw some more charcoal in there. Something I want to show you on the way you burn charcoal down, or at least the way I do, and how it affects the flavor. All right, so what you're looking at inside of the charcoal chimney here is you can see where a lot of this charcoal at the top of it is still black. And if you're standing over here near it, it's got a really strong charcoal smell. If you throw this in there, it will still burn, and you throw it in the smoker, that's going to give some of that charcoal smell. It's going to appear on your meat in a taste. Some people like that, some people do not. I don't really like it if I'm smoking something because I think it takes away from the meat and the smoke. So what I like to do is I like to burn all this down really good until even the top part of this right here is almost kind of that whitish color that you see around those edges. That gives me a good burn on the charcoal, so that way when I throw it in there, it doesn't impart any of that charcoal smell onto the meat itself. So just wanted to throw that out there for you. All right, so we got to get some more charcoal in here to get the temp back up on this thing. We're about 300 degrees right now, and that's a little too cool. There's a couple of different ways you can do this. So first of all, get a good pair of gloves. You're going to burn yourself. You can pop the door open and just kind of shovel it in through there, which works okay. That's the way it's designed to work. The way I like to do it is just grab the entire lid and just pick it up if you don't have, 30 pounds of meat in there or anything like that. And it gives you a different way to rearrange the coal bed and do anything else you need to do with your kind of bigger splits of wood in there. So, pop that up like that. Get your tongs. Move your chunks of wood kind of over and out of the way. Grab our new bed of coals here. Dump those guys in there, kind of on the indirect side. Rearrange them how you kind of want to see them. Get our logs put back on top of there in a pattern we really like. And throw our food back on there. Those flames will die down once you put this back on here and it restricts the air. There we go. All right, so we've let the pit run for, 15, 20 minutes, and temp right now is about 430, which is really good to get the skin good and crispy on that guy. Let's take a look at it and see how it looks. All right, so we got some really good bark formation going on. The skin's starting to dry out quite a bit, and the front of that breast is not getting overdone, so really liking that. But overall, it is looking really, really good. So we'll give it a little bit longer and start doing some temps. All right, so it's been probably about 3.5, 4 hours. So it's time to take a look at this thing. We were getting some pretty good crust on it there in the beginning, and I've took a couple of sneak peeks at it. So there we go. Very crispy skin on the outside. We're gonna try to probe this guy and get a temperature on him. Oh yeah, it feels really good. So we're 172 in the breast, 174 on that side. So they cooked pretty similar, but really good crunchy skin on the outside. Oh my gosh, you can almost hear that crunchiness. So yeah, so we're gonna get him pulled off the Weber Smoky Mountain and over here to the cutting board to have some bites. All right, so we've got this dude off the Weber Smoky Mountain, and it is looking absolutely amazing. I wish you could smell just how good this thing smells, and that's even me with a cold and congestion. So take a look at this. Absolutely amazing. So, perfect, crispy, crunchy crust on it. The skin is just cooked to perfection. It might have got a little hot up here on the top, but I think this is going to turn out really good. Let's cut into it and see what we got. All right, let's cut into it here. So what I like to do is just find that kind of center spot right there in the turkey. We're going to come down until we hit the bone. And then whichever side the breastbone ends up falling on, which I think on this side it's over on this side, you're just going to come down. You'll come on the back side over here on the breast, and you'll just kind of work your way up towards where you think that bone is. And that's just going to take that entire breast off. Whew, look at that. Perfectly cooked. I mean, look at that bark. It's just absolutely beautiful. So, we'll chop that other one off a little bit later, but right now, we're going to focus on this one. So, yeah. So we're going to get us a couple of bites off of this here. Still a little warm. Oh, that crunchy end piece of fat right there. Absolutely looking delicious. Something else I like to do is I like to get just a pinch of salt. And this is finishing salt, so it's not super salty. It's just a little salty. And we're going to give this a try. Huh. If you do not cook this for Thanksgiving, please cook it some other time because it is absolutely unbelievable. Oh my gosh. That is so good. Wow. All right. Yeah. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for today's episode. Like I said, if you're not making this for Thanksgiving, please make it for something. It is really, really good. If you like what you see here, subscribe to the channel. Helps me out a bunch. Allows me to keep buying more meat and doing more videos. Like it. Put a comment down there. If there's something you want to see that I haven't done or that you're interested in, I'd love to take a look and see what's out there and do stuff for you guys. So, till then, keep those fires burning, and we'll see you on the next one.